Okay, great morning. I wanted to make this video and just let people know I had Gama knife surgery for an acoustic neuroma on January 12th. It is now April 18th. So, I'm past the 3 months time, 3.5 months or so out. And so I want to talk about long-term complications, what I've found. Of course, your hearing is not restored. Whatever you've lost, you've lost. And in my case, I didn't notice what was going on. Because of COVID, I thought it was, people's are muffled. I'm not hearing them because of the mask. And then I had been for a year without a TV. I was in my van, and now I'm in a house, and I set up my TV, and I went to listen to it, and I'm like, I am not getting what they are saying, And I thought it was, the speakers. Maybe there's something wrong with the speakers of my TV. No, it was one side of my hearing is really muffled. Now, the way I finally realized how bad it is was the other day I had the earphones on, listening to something. I took the one side out, and the side where I had the neuroma, it is really muffled. I've lost over 30% over there of the hearing itself. And when I went through the test, they said that no matter how loud they turn it up, I'm not going to get the sound back on there as far as being able to distinguish what's being said. Yeah. So the other side, I had the thing in the earphone in here, and I was hearing pretty well, although I do have some hearing loss on this side as well, which made it a little complicated as well, because there was hearing loss on both sides, but the acoustic neuroma side is way worse. And then it was the feeling of, and the reason I'm putting this out there is in case somebody happens on this video and you're having these kind of symptoms, and you might want to think it's due to wearing mask, or sometimes when you go through, like if I go through coffee or go through something to order something, I'm not catching what they're saying sometimes, and I'm thinking, I keep thinking, maybe it's the masks, but it's not. You've got muffled hearing. Okay. Oh my goodness. So the other thing that I had is feeling like one side feels like you're either, when you go up in a plane or you go over mountains, and you know how your hearing closes because of the pressure, it's that kind of feeling. Now here, it was mostly noticed when I'm speaking. It must cause a change in the pressure inside the ear, and then it is feeling, again, that closes. This side is open, but this side is like that feeling like you're underwater, or you're up in a plane going across the mountains, and it's that feeling of pressure and being closed. So that's ongoing, okay? I was very surprised when I went and did the hearing test that really I wasn't catching a lot of the words when they were doing this one side. I just did not catch the words. That was pretty startling, to find that out, that you're just not getting them at all. And it didn't matter how loud he turned up the sound, there was something about them not translating on that side. So, if you're having those type of things, go and have a hearing tests done. And then if you're having one side of hearing that's very different from the other side, because usually when people lose hearing, they lose it in both sides kind of equally at the same time. So if you're having one side that's really, then it could be the acoustic neuroma. Okay, they're benign tumors, but they can cause a number of problems because your facial nerve is there, the one for hearing is there, and there's another one, it affects your balance and everything. So all of those things are right all together in this one little area. So it can cause significant difficulties. Now, before I had the Gama knife surgery, I was doing fine. I wasn't having dizziness. I wasn't having balance issues. Except for when I finally tested it, I closed my eyes and went to walk. I found out I was kind of veering off. I wasn't able to do a straight line. When my eyes were open, it was fine. But with my eyes closed, I found out I was kind of veering off. I wasn't able to walk a straight line with it. Now, when I went to get the Gama knife, they just said, oh, you may have some dizziness for a few days, etc. But this is long term. It's, over 3.5 months now, and I'm still daily dizziness. I didn't have any sort of facial difficulty, but you could potentially have some facial nerve difficulty after Gama knife. But I am having significant dizziness daily, all day, and balance issues ongoing, and headaches daily. You wake up with a headache, and you feel like a drunken sailor on a pitching ship in a storm. That's what it's like trying to walk and trying to navigate. Now, what's really odd is when I'm in the car driving, I don't notice it as much. Maybe it's the motion or something. But when I'm at home and I'm sitting, I will continually feel like I've been on a tilt-a-whirl and just got off. And you know how when you're a kid and you do the tilt-a-whirl thing and you get off and you go to walk and you're like, and you can't navigate, you can't orientate. It's like that, but continually. Okay, so I want to put this out there, so these are some possible side effects of Gama knife. And again, I was not told about this when I went to get the procedure done. And this doesn't look like it's letting up. So that's a bit disconcerting. Then another possible complication I just read about today, which is again very disconcerting, is that 6 months after your Gama knife surgery, you can have swelling of the brain. Okay, well, that's not something I really want to contemplate, but that is another possible side effect that can take place long term after the surgery. Okay. Once in a while it's very odd too, because usually it feels like it's closed, but sometimes it feels like it's opening, and then you hear this kind of rushing sound, kind of, I don't know, sort of like, I guess if you held the seashell up to your ear and you hear that air going inside of there, it's kind of like that, okay? Or you hear kind of, I don't know, just different sounds. So it feels like it sort of opens, but then you get these odd sounds that are going along with it as well. Oh, mercy. So anyway, I just wanted to put that out for those that are just maybe found out they have an acoustic neuroma, or, you're having, finding out you have muffled sounds on one side, or, yeah. But anyway, this is what happens with the Gama knife surgery. Sometimes if you have the tumor that's small, they can watch it for a time. I think that they said also on very rare occasions the radiation is not going to shrink it, but it could grow. Okay, so that's another complication that could happen. Okay. Yeah, at this point I may decide to see if I can track down the name of the doctors again and just ask them about this, because this is already, like I said, 3 months. At 3 months, they say usually it should be ending, but in my case, this is not ending. This ongoing dizziness, and you just feel like things are not connected right. It's a body feeling thing that feels like things are not connected right. And it feels like being a gyroscope that's on tilt. Rather than being straight, it's on tilt. Okay, so you're going through things on tilt, And there's nothing you can do to get it to straighten up. Okay. So yeah, just something to look at and to take into consideration if you found out, or if again you have that muffled sound and you're having that difficulty, going through things, and you want to order the drive through things. Sometimes it's not because the masks, okay? Sometimes it can be because there is hearing loss on one side. So again, something to look at. I think in my case, it's just all these things happened at once with COVID, wearing the masks, and then, not having the TV, not listening to it for a year, that I didn't really recognize these things. So anyway, I was fortunate. In my case, the neuroma was small, but I don't know. Like I said, I think I'm going to have to go in and just check with the doctors as to why I may be having ongoing balance and dizziness issues with this. Yeah, because this is definitely not something that is fun to try to navigate. I don't drink, I don't do illicit drugs. I don't like, so this feeling of being like, a drunk, being unable to navigate is really foreign to me, and again, not something I want to continue to deal with on a daily basis. But you just do what you need to, and you continue forward. That's all. But again, the reason I wanted to put this video out is just for people that are checking that maybe you found, and because there's not a lot of information about this out there. I watched a ton of videos when I found out they said that I had acoustic neuroma tumor. And about these really long-term effects, I was not finding the information on that. Okay, was not finding too much information on that. So I thought, well, maybe it's kind of good to put this out there so people can know these are the ramifications. You know, a lot of people say that they had it, and within the next day or two, they were able to go back to work. And maybe they had a little balance issues, and they had a cane for a short time. Okay? So yeah, it can be more than that. Okay, I'm just saying, if the possibility is out there to develop something a little more daunting than a cane for a few days or a few, yeah. And like I said, I didn't have any of these things to begin with. So anyway, thanks for tuning in, and hopefully this has given some information to somebody that's searching and wanting to know what can be the long-term ramifications and difficulties with Gama knife surgery. Although, it beats having to have the physical surgery where they open up your skull. This is a radiation. Gama knife is radiation where they give, I think it's 170 pinpointed radiation bursts to the tumor. Okay. So thanks for tuning in, and hopefully somebody's gotten something from this.